from another mother on this show. And he don't need an introduction. I am with Vernon Jones. Y'all know Vernon Jones. Vernon, what's going on, brother?
Georgia's what's going on.
Georgia's
on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you, man.
Coming to Georgia. You know, so goes Georgia, so goes America. I said that in 2020 and again in 2022. Here we are again approaching 2024. But, you know, Terrence, to have you here, it's an honor to have you here, man.
Oh, I love Georgia.
Hey, Georgia
loves you Georgia.
Too. Georgia loves you too.
I was on the midnight train to Georgia. Man, but let's jump right into the latest news.
Yes.
Kevin McCarthy.
Yes.
He's gone. He's no longer Speaker of the House. Well, how do you feel about that? Like, I want your take on that because you were once in the House.
Yeah, I served in the Georgia House of Representatives. Yeah. Did 2 tours there, about a total of 12 years. So I know how politics happen. I've been one of them. I know how they think. I know how people come and leave the leadership. This is a scenario where it was a close speaker's race from the very beginning. It went, 15 rounds before he got elected speaker. But each round, he had to negotiate more and more. And he literally negotiated himself out of power. Because one of the things in there that the conservative wing, more conservative wing, I should say, wanted to have is at any given time, just one member of Congress can bring to the floor a process where they can vote on his speakership. And he could, obviously, that position can be vacated, depending on your politics. And so that's what happened here. Now, when that happens, and I think McCarthy didn't think it was going to go that far. Really don't think it was going to go that far. Yeah. But when he challenged Matt, and I heard him, this past week say, "Bring it on." Yeah. Well,
he brought it on.
He brought it. And it's you're always going to have a few defectors. I don't care. Yeah. The Democrat Party has a few defectors, but when a few defectors can get with your enemies, then all of a sudden they become the majority. You out the door, and so. That right there set him up to be out. Now, when he lost the minute he lost, I said right then and there, he should not seek re-election as speaker. He's going to embarrass himself. And
thankfully he didn't.
He was smart enough to get out right there. He knew when to hold, when to fold, when to walk away. Yeah. And so now you're seeing behind the scenes who's going to be the next speaker. Now you got some egos. You got some who don't want to be, may get drafted. Yeah. And people have been asking, who do you think, there's an opportunity. Even a civilian, President Trump, can be selected or voted on from the House of Representatives. And he's not even a member. That's one position you can select someone from the outside.
So you can select someone from the outside.
Yes, they can vote on. Let's say you can elect because they have the House has to vote.
Now, do you think do you think that Trump would be? Do you think he could be nominated for that position?
Here's what I believe: if President Trump didn't have these 91 charges against him, he could very well. I think he would have been. Elected to come in that body and still run as president. It's just too much on his plate. There's no way in the world he can be the Speaker of the House and deal with all these trials. It just doesn't make sense. He can't. He can't do it. And so, when someone asks, well, who do you think? Well, there's so many members there. To me, I look at it like this: who can provide strong leadership? Who has the ear of the conservative caucus? Who has the ear of the moderate caucus? Who can grow this party? Who can grow this base? And the first and the only person that comes to my mind is Byron Donalds.
Brian Donalds, yeah.
Congressman Donald, think about this. He's smart. He's already in with the conservative caucus. Yeah. He has good stage presence. He's well-spoken. He's a seasoned legislator. He served when he was in Florida legislature. He has a relationship with young people like you and others, and he has a relationship with the minority base. Byron Donalds can do more than just run that house. Yeah. But he can grow that party, and the party needs more than anything else growth. Yeah. And so he brings to me a complete package. Yeah. One that's comprehensive.
Do you think so? You think he can be a better speaker than Kevin McCarthy?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
And I say that because Kevin again cut too many deals. Yeah. But Byron will take you to the mat. Look. There's only so much.
That's what we need. We need somebody who's going to get in there and they are going to fight. Not going to back down. They're not going to. They're not going to be scared of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck and Adam. Like, get in there and fight. This show is sponsored by Noble Gold, the first sponsor to believe in me. Thank you, Noble Gold. Y'all, the U.S. dollar is losing value every single day. It's called inflation. And the Biden administration isn't doing anything about it. They don't care. And from now and through the next election, they still won't care. The current government, the Biden administration, these people can print as much money as they want. That means the value of your dollar and my dollar is in trouble, and so is your future. So make sure you protect the money you already have. People, please protect your money. Invest in noble gold. Invest in gold. Gold protects against rising inflation, recession, and will protect your retirement, which is really important. Noble Gold can help you invest in gold. Contact them now and you'll get a 24 karat gold standard coin for free. And I love free, okay? And but anyways, people, call Noble Gold now at 877-646-5347 and mention my name or click the link in the description. Noble Gold, the only gold company for you.
Byron, he won't back down, back off, or back away.
Because I feel like Kevin McCarthy was, I feel like he was trying to play things safe. Like, to me, he was trying to play it safe a lot. And, or he was just, I don't know. I always feel like he was holding back. Either you were holding back or you just, what's going on?
Here's what's interesting. There's always been talk about him being a California Republican.
Yeah.
It's a big difference between being a California Republican and a Georgia Republican and a Florida Republican, which means he was more to the moderate side anyhow. Just like he allowed Nancy Pelosi to have that special office, just like he worked this deal out with Joe. He got a compromise for what he did with Joe Biden. When you look at kicking the can down the line, let me tell you, Matt, whether you like Matt Gaetz or not, but Matt has some good points. There were some things that they committed to. And I guess he thought that Matt Gaetz didn't have a good memory.
Right.
And you got to give Matt Gaetz the credit, whether you like what he did or not. But he held the line. He went in there as a minority and walked out there as a 300-pound gorilla. Yeah. He changed the face of the history in the United States House of Representatives.
I give it to Matt. Now, what was this office that Nancy Pelosi was occupying?
Well, they had given her a special little office. She was no longer speaker. She should have been put back in the bunker with all the others in the little office. But she had like a nice little well-kept secret office.
And Kevin McCarthy didn't kick her out. And he should have been beating down that door. Nancy, hey, it's time to go. Pack up. It's time to go.
You don't have to. You can't. You got to be careful now. You can't govern with vengeance. You have to govern with vision. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was out. I understand showing protocol and you were speaker, I respect you. But you know what? You're out. Okay, you go back to where you were. No more, no less. And so Kevin, I think Kevin gave up too much ground to too many people. You cannot serve but on a certain number of masters. He tried to serve too many masters.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kevin had a lot of people in his pocket, so he was trying to please too many people on both sides, and instead of focusing on what he should, what's the right thing to do. You should just be focused on serving the American people, not serving your colleagues. Serve us, the American people. Listen to us. You're listening to other people, but you're not listening to what the people want.
Base.
You're not listening to your base. Yeah. You're listening to what other people. So would have voted for McCarthy if you were able to vote on that? Would you have voted for him to hit
if I were there in Congress?
Because I think there was only 8 people, eight Republicans,
and that's all he needed.
Yeah,
with all the Democrats pitching in.
But if you were in there, would it have been 9 or what?
Actually, I would not have, and I want to, because I don't want to play quarterback.
Yeah.
Or Monday morning quarterback. But let's be realistic here. If you get my vote, I don't expect for you to agree with everything I say.
Absolutely.
But there were some basic things that were so important.
Like what?
Going ahead and passing those appropriation measures early on. Why do you wait until the last minute and then they're going to hold over your head or you're trying to shut down the government? Why didn't he pass all those appropriation bills back in June and July? It had been over in the Senate and it had been up to the Senate to to make a move. And if the Senate had faltered, well, you had enough time to negotiate. But right now it made it like the House had to do something. If the House doesn't pass this, then you're going to shut down government. Well, the House should have passed a long time ago and sent it over to the Senate. And if the Senate sent some crap back, then the House could have held the line. No, we're not going to do this. We're going to make sure that we have money in for the borders. We're going to make sure that we cut across the board. Look, the American people, they want to see cuts.
Yeah.
They do. They want to save some of their tax dollars because you're charging them more for gas now. You're charging more for milk and eggs. And so he could have been more fiscal responsible in terms of, at least in the process of heading that direction. And I think he missed some opportunities there. I think he got a little too comfortable, got amnesia, didn't realize that
he put his feet up on the table, relaxed, kicked back.
And not that let me tell
sipping on hot cocoa, thought everything was good.
It's not that he didn't do some good things. I'm not saying he didn't. But let's go back, though. When you're the Speaker of the House and you have a caucus and it's split in so many ways, you got a moderate and you got a liberal, and then you have a conservative and a hard right. You got different factions. How do you get in there and work with them and maintain? Lyndon Baines Johnson, whether you like him or not, he knew how to stay on that phone. Even when he was sitting on the toilet, he's on the phone talking to one of his congressmen day in and day out. He stayed in touch. He worked that thing. He didn't send those middlemen out there, go talk for me. No, he would go and talk to you himself. He understood that I can't get anything done through this House unless I got my votes.
Yeah.
And he did, you got to do some dealing, but he didn't give the conservative wing enough to stand with him to buy some time.
Yeah.
He didn't do that, and it cost him.
Yeah. So I'm hearing some people, there are a lot of people who are happy about Kevin McCarthy being removed. Then there are some people who are upset, and some are saying now this is going to delay Joe Biden being impeached. Well, I don't really feel like he was doing anything about Joe Biden. I mean, I don't feel like he was doing it. I don't feel like he was really going after
Joe.
Joe.
That's one of the arguments right there. Look, why has it been this long you hadn't subpoenaed Hunter Biden, all of his sons, all of his relatives, all those who were getting money from those 20-some-odd fake accounts, if you will, those fake businesses. So that the Democrats would have already hauled. How many times did they haul Don Jr. in there? 4 times, I think, around 4 times. So that's the other thing too. What are we waiting on? Some people want revenge for the right reasons. Some don't. But wait a minute. If we already been subjected to a 2-tier system, and we got the power, we don't use it. When they had the power, when the Democrats had the power, they crammed stuff down the Republicans' throats. Matter of fact, some Republicans would tell you that Kevin McCarthy gave in too much even then. When he talked about working bipartisan with them, he gave up too much room even then. Yeah. So that was a sign then, what you had.
Yeah, I believe Kevin McCarthy showed weakness. I believe Nancy Pelosi, I'm not a fan of Nancy Pelosi. I do not support Nancy Pelosi. But I believe Nancy Pelosi had more balls than Kevin McCarthy. Because look at when she was Speaker of the House, Nancy, like you said, it was a 2-tier system. Nancy Pelosi would not have been footsying around when they went after, like you said, they hauled in Don Jr. about 4 times. Yeah. They went after Trump for every little thing. Yeah. If you sneeze, you being impeached. They're not playing any games. Right. Now that we have power, what are we doing? And that's why a lot of people were mad at Kevin McCarthy. Why are you not going after Hunter Biden? Why are you not going after Joe Biden? And what do people mean by, now the impeachment is not, now this is going to slow down the impeachment of Joe Biden? No. He should have impeached Joe Biden a long time ago.
But that's my whole point. And I understand, like Congressman Comer, who was over one of those committees, he said, we need to get all these records first. Well, I understand that's process, and I know they've been held up. But if he had started hauling them up there, if he had already subpoenaed them and they don't come to Congress and then hold them for contempt, like they did some of Trump's folks, they held him in contempt. Yeah. What they did to Steve Bannon when he didn't show up, they held him in contempt. What they did to his financial advisor, I forget the white-haired fella's name. They ended up arresting him at the airport.
Roger.
No, he was advisor for Trump. It'll come to me a little later, but they didn't play around. They had the power and they used it. Yeah. And when their fraction, the AOCs, the squads of the world, started complaining, they knew they had trouble, but she was able to bring them in the fold. You got to give them something. Yeah. I don't think Kevin gave enough. And sometimes it's not so much actual function, but it's symbolic. Yeah. Give example. Obama didn't do shit for black people.
Yeah.
But symbolically,
yeah,
it was the symbol that got black people. They got so caught up in the symbolism until they realized he didn't do no more for them than anybody else did.
Right.
But it was symbolic that made them feel, okay, here's Obama. Now we have African-American president. Give me the whitest president in the world as long as he does things that make my pocketbook, where I can earn an income, I can grow a business or start a business, or I don't have to worry about all these regulations. I don't care about your color. I care about my pocketbook. I care about my quality of life. And so now black people are just now realizing that they didn't get anything from Obama.
Yeah.
Now, the gay community benefited from Obama.
Yeah.
The illegals benefited from Obama.
Right.
But again, sometimes some symbolism carries more weight than actual activism.
Yeah.
And so the same thing with Kevin McCarthy. Kevin, if they had already been bringing Joe's brother in and some others, subpoena them, those kids, subpoena them in there. Why not?
Yeah,
because
before he became Speaker of the House, they already had the dirt on Hunter.
They
already had all the dirt on Joe Biden. So it's not like he became Speaker, then he needed to investigate. Y'all already been investigating. Yeah. You have everything in front of you.
Yeah.
So we were expecting on day one, we expected him to say out of his mouth, "We are coming for you, Joe Biden."
Why not take out of the budget?
Yeah.
Hit the FBI and the U.S. and the Department of Justice in the budget. Cut their budget. First day we cutting your budget. That would have gotten Marilyn Garlick's attention.
Yeah.
That would have gotten Christopher Wray's attention. But they come to these, when they do come to these hearings, what are they doing? I can't talk about this as investigation. I tell you what, you start taking that money away, they'll start singing like a canary.
The other side, they were making up stuff about Trump, right? With these impeachments. They didn't even investigate, and they were talking a lot. The Democrats, they didn't wait to talk.
They impeach first.
They impeach first and then investigate.
There you go.
They impeach, yeah.
And there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And I understand what they're trying to do, but wait a minute.
You trying to
you can't look.
You're playing by the rules, and you playing by the rules.
You can't play by the rules with Democrats.
You can't, because they're not playing by the rules.
You got to get in the gutter with them.
Yes.
Or they'll beat you every time.
Exactly.
Because they'll turn around tomorrow and get Congress again. If something happened today and they took over Congress today, they would start another impeachment on Donald Trump today if they could.
Right.
They wouldn't be worried about what the election, how's it going to affect us on the election. They don't give a doggone about that. They would have already done it. And Republicans, if you got the power and you don't do anything with it, you may as not have had it.
Exactly.
You may not have, come on. You got it, do something with it. But this is nothing unreasonable, though.
Yeah, it's not, yeah.
You worry about the liberal media not giving you a fair shake. They're not going to ever give you a fair shake.
Never.
Impeach them.
Just impeach them. You got
subpoena them. Wait a minute. Subpoena the DOJs. Let's talk about what really happened with the Trump investigation. Now, y'all knew that he never did all those things he said that he did.
They knew it.
Look at the 50, give an example. Look at the 50 some odd former intelligence officials who signed that letter and said that whole Hunter Biden laptop was what? It was Russian disinformation.
Yep.
All of them still have their clearance. Day one, forget about whether they passed it in Senate, passed that all former intelligence officials, they lose their certification, they lose their security level the minute they walk out the door.
We need you back.
The same ones, they come out of that door with that security level, they'll go and get on CNN, they still got the buddies over there they're talking to because they got the clearance, or they go and work for Facebook, or they work for Twitter, and they build a whole nother network, and they still got clearance. Now, Clapper and all those others who signed that letter, they still have clearance. They still have security clearance. You haven't canceled their clearance. Make it statutory. If the executive does not do it, make it statutory. Put it in law. Once you leave, you lose your clearance.
That's how it should have been.
You got to sting them on you got to go at them.
Yeah.
When they feel that, I call it the Vern, when they feel that Vern, yeah, they'll start coming around.
So if you were House Speaker, that's what you would have done, all of that.
I would have released all those tapes to everybody, not just certain reporters. Release it to everybody.
Why not release all the tapes?
That's what I'm saying.
And even those January 6 tapes, why not release them all? If if those tapes are going to hurt, y'all say, oh, this is bad for Trump. This is bad for the MAGA base. This is bad for the Republicans. Then if it's bad, release all the tapes. What you hiding?
Because what the Democrats did, they hired a production company and they created their own video. They cut and edit and show what they want to show and shape the narrative. Release the whole. Let me tell you,
they done hired Warner Brothers.
The American people can handle it.
Yeah.
I look at classified documents. You know, the deep state, the DOJ and the FBI, they like to classify documents. And they tell these presidents when they come in and tell Congress, oh, we need to classify this because if we don't, it's a matter of national security here and there. No, it's to cover up their shit.
Right.
That's all it is. A lot of documents that get classified today should never be classified. That's why they're afraid of Trump coming in, because if Trump come back in now, see, if you fooled me the first time, is your fault. Fool me the second time is my fault.
Right.
Trump coming in day one, releasing, declassifying everything and pulling the sheet off of everybody from the DOJ to the FBI. See, you can clear out that top management. Trump cleared out the top management, but when there's a level below there.
Yeah.
See, they never get hauled in and all out, and so you just move right. You got to set examples. You have to set examples. Cut their security clearance. They take that and go make a boatload of money.
All right.
Pass law statutorily that if you have worked in the government, if you're at the cabinet or at a senior level, you cannot go and write a book and earn money. I know you can do it. I passed a law. We had district attorneys. They have these high-profile cases.
Yeah.
When they open it, they go and write a book. Well, that right there to me made me feel you made that case more exciting than it was because you had in mind writing a book.
Exactly.
All right. You cut that money out. That'll stop a lot of that foolishness.
Yep.
You know how when they leave the administration, they go right there, tell-all book?
Yep.
Or they leave the administration, go work for a media company and make a boatload of money based on what happened in there? No.
Because I think that's what D.A. Willis is going to do probably.
Absolutely.
D.A. Braggs.
But
she's going to write a book, How I Indicted Trump.
If she's not careful,
the
state of Georgia, because I passed it, she cannot write a book and make money off a case that she presided over in Fulton County.
Ever?
It's on the state book. I passed the law back in the 90s because we had a DA doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't even know. See, a lot of books on the law on the book that people don't even know about it.
Yeah.
But there's a statute on the books that you cannot have a case and then go write a book about it.
Yeah. So everybody send her a letter and ask her to please write a book.
so my point though,
get her caught up.
And all of this really at the end of the day hurting American people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's hurting American people.
It is. But like you said, they really don't have anything on him, but it's all about symbol and making a statement. That's all they're doing is making a statement. And it's time for us to make a statement too. Yeah. Why don't we start encouraging our Republican DAs to go after?
Why not?
To go after the other side, to go after some of these corrupt
why not?
people on the other side.
Look, let me tell you, if you keep hitting someone long enough, it gets good. You just keep on hitting them.
Yeah.
But let someone knock you out one time. You think twice before you jump on that person again. What I'm saying, I don't mean get physical here. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of Republicans that can be going at these Democrats if they wanted to. You know, the most powerful politician in the country is a district attorney.
Yep.
A district attorney can make your life miserable. They can investigate you any given time without any reason. They can make your life miserable.
Now, do you believe that some of our politicians in office, do you believe that they have, do you believe that some of them have instructed some of these DAs to go after Donald Trump?
Listen. Think about it now.
Or do you think they just woke up one morning and said, let's...
DAs have become so partisan now. In other words, here I am. I'm campaigning for the Attorney General of the state of New York. All right, New York is Democrat most part. And who am I running against? Democrats. So Democrats going to try to out-Democrat the Democrat.
Yeah.
Their whole campaign... Look at the AG. I'm going to run my whole campaign based on locking up Donald Trump.
Yeah, the one in New York.
Her whole campaign was based on locking up Donald Trump. Now, she's come after the fact, and what did she do after she got elected? Go after Donald Trump. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, Fanny Willis, she saw what happened in New York with Bragg, what happened with the Attorney General up there as well, what happened with Jack Smith, and she's going to up one on them. Oh, I'm going to go way out there. I'm going to do a whole RICO charge. I'm going to get a whole herd of them.
Oh, yeah.
19 people.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, she started out with what you call a special purpose grand jury. A special purpose grand jury in Georgia is used for one thing and one thing only, it should be, and that is to evaluate government operations. You convene a special purpose grand jury, you have people that come in, let's say we're going to evaluate how elections work. You come in, you talk about, and you make recommendations, and you make those recommendations public from the grand jury on how we can make things better. But district attorneys, because you can't indict somebody.
Yeah.
Because it's civil. It has no indictment powers. But what they're doing, they get you under sworn testimony in a special purpose grand jury, get you to talk. You come in, you tell the truth. I come in, I tell a lie. But because they want you, they're going to say you lying and I'm telling the truth. So they'll take that information, come back in a criminal grand jury and indict you. That whole thing started in Fulton County with Fanny as a special purpose grand jury. It's supposed to be to evaluate how government operates and come back and make recommendations.
Yeah.
But they use it for political purposes.
Right.
Now, how are you going to be investigate lieutenant governor in Georgia, but at the same time, a candidate, the current lieutenant governor, Vernon Jones, who was running for a lieutenant governor, but at the same time, she goes and hosts a fundraiser for his opponent. So you're saying that you don't want the Republican to run because you're already helping his opponent, who's a Democrat. You're doing a fundraiser for him while you're investigating this one.
That's correct. Yeah, that is corrupt.
To me, that's a RICO. If you want to talk about RICO, let's really talk about what RICO is for. RICO was for the mob. If you're laundering money, it's violent, where you're shooting and killing people.
Yeah.
It was for the mob, not for questioning your government on elections.
Right.
Really? But what she did the same thing with Young Thug, and right now she can't even get a jury to sit. With all this going on in Fulton County, killings and all, you want to go and put all your resources towards someone who questioned the president?
Yeah.
I mean, questioning the Secretary of State. So if you question the Secretary, if a group of people question the Secretary of State in elections, you stand a chance now of being charged under what? RICO.
RICO case.
What
so
is that about?
It sounds like Fanny Willis needs to be investigated.
Who's watching the Watchmen?
Who's watching the Watchmen?
Who's watching the Watchmen? Who's watching the FBI?
I mean,
who's watching the DOJ? Like nobody can control them.
Now, our politicians are not allowed to investigate Fanny Willis?
Well, actually, they can.
They cannot subpoena her?
They can't from this standpoint. They passed a law in Georgia just a couple of years ago that people now can complain about the district attorneys to a committee. That committee can investigate those complaints. Before that, you didn't have that. I mean, a DA would just run wild.
But if she's investigating a Republican and who's running against
the only
a
person
Democrat,
that can investigate her would be the Attorney General, the State Attorney General.
And who's the State Attorney General?
Chris Carr, who's running for governor, who's close with Brian Kemp, who was anti-Trump. So that leads to a whole nother thing. So now here's the deal. Trump made a phone call to the Secretary of State in Fulton County, but that office is on state property. The state of Georgia has its own police department and its own prosecuting arm. Like at the U.S. Capitol, the Washington, D.C. police cannot investigate a crime on the U.S. Capitol. They got Capitol Police.
Yeah.
And the DA there cannot prosecute because that comes on the federal again. That's where you have your Department of Justice. Now, in Georgia, same thing. Although the state capital is in Fulton County, the Fulton County DA has no jurisdiction on what happens on state capitol property. That's why you have the Capitol Police to do the investigation, and the Attorney General is supposed to investigate. If Trump did anything wrong, the Attorney General was supposed to investigate it. But what happened? Fanny sends a letter to the president, to the governor, and the Attorney General. We're going to investigate what happened with this phone call. The Attorney General could have said right then and there, hold on, young Pilgrim, step back. This is not your jurisdiction. Yeah. All right, this is state property. I have this. But because he's anti-Trump, he didn't call her off. He could have looked at that transcript and said, hey, there's nothing here. We're not going to investigate anything, if he wanted to. Okay. But he didn't. Because why? Because he didn't have the testicular fortitude to go at Trump. So what did he do? He just laid back and let the DA come in. Okay, yeah, go get him. Yeah, he wanted her to go do it. He could have stopped her and didn't. This is politics being played, man. This is politics.
But can he stop her now if he wanted to?
Well, see, if he came in right now, yeah, sure, he can come in right now.
Because he can say you're not supposed to be investigating. Yeah,
he's the attorney general. He can come in if he wants to right now and say, wait a minute. I looked at this phone call. I listened to the transcript. There's no issue here. And he can right now file for a declaratory judgment with the judge and say, wait a minute, judge, she didn't have jurisdiction to investigate a crime here. This is under state control.
Okay.
But is he going to do it? No.
Okay, so question here. Maybe our politicians can't subpoena Fanny Willis, right? You said?
Well, you can't. You have to. The attorney general can investigate her if he wants to, because he's the top dog over all county DAs.
But can we subpoena him, the attorney general, and ask him why he is allowed?
There's no process for you to right now. If the attorney general did something wrong, unless he broke the law, no, there's no way a citizen can haul him into a grand jury. A district attorney, if he breaks a law, a district attorney can investigate him. Even though he's attorney general, let's say he's out in the DeKalb County, he broke a law. Yeah, district attorney can investigate him. But when he's involved, there's what they call a prosecutorial counsel. So when there's a conflict of interest with the AG, this counsel can convene and they can investigate AG, and they can appoint another DA to come in on their behalf and investigate the DA. The attorney general. So in each county has what you call a district attorney, and then you got the state attorney general.
Yeah.
The state attorney general has a lot of jurisdiction over all counties. Mm-hmm. But this call happened again on state property. So if there's a crime on state property, why didn't the Capitol Police investigate it? And then he could come in and prosecute it if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But Fanny Willis sent a letter to him and the governor saying, I'm getting ready to investigate this. And he never said a word.
Okay, so maybe our politicians can't do anything about, they can't subpoena the AG and the DA. But we can talk about it.
Sure, you can talk
this,
about
it. What you are explaining to me now, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So
sure.
why are we not talking? So why are they not talking about that?
Well, you got the liberal media here, Atlanta Journal and Constipation, some call Atlanta Journal and Constitution.
Yeah.
But they're liberal. They're with Fanny. All right. They're not saying, wait a minute. When can you? They're not even asking questions. Wait a minute, District Attorney Willis, you don't have the power to go and investigate Trump. This didn't happen on county property. Yeah. This happened on state property. See, the media is leading the charge. There's no fraud. Even the grand jury report came back, and you know what they said? There's no widespread fraud. Well, they didn't say there's no fraud. They said there's no widespread fraud, so that means there was fraud.
Yeah.
So if you're saying there's fraud, and I'm saying there's fraud, and Trump is saying there's fraud, and Stacey Abrams is saying it's fraud. Remember when she lost in 2018, she said the election was stolen. It was fraud. She filed a lawsuit in Georgia. The Secretary of State and the Attorney General settled with her, and they changed the election process. Now stop for a minute. The United States Constitution, the state constitution is very clear. Only the members of the legislature, state legislatures, can change election laws. Not the judiciary branch, not the executive branch. The judiciary branch can determine if it's constitutional or not.
Yeah.
But neither can change election laws, only what? The Georgia General Assembly. How is it that settlement agreement changed election laws? That's how the whole drop-off box thing came up. Only the legislature can determine where precincts are. But what happened? The executive branch, and part of that settlement, they changed how you count absentee ballots, among other things. So we held an election based on what was done by the executive branch. If the governor had merely called in a special session, we could have ratified that settlement agreement. Mm-hmm. And the only part that we really should have been engaged with is the part that the executive branch couldn't do. And that was what? That was when they changed and created these drop-off boxes. Yeah. And when they changed and said, this is how we're going to count absentee ballots, you change the election laws. The executive branch can't do that. Where was the AG filing a declaratory judgment No, he couldn't do it because the AG what? The AG was the top lawyer for the state, so he signed off on the settlement agreement, and with the Secretary of State, with the governor's knowledge.
When they should have filed a RICO case against Stacey.
Well,
right?
With all those different groups she has out there, including getting Mark Zuckerberg to donate millions to the state to do what? Buy some drop-off boxes.
Right.
Now, the state came back and changed the law. Now they can't take private dollars like that at the Secretary of State's office. But that was a whole conspiracy. All her nonprofit groups out there, all those groups, the ones who fair fight and unfair fight and all those groups, that's real conspiracy.
Well, it's not too late to start a RICO case against Stacey Abrams.
But you have to, but look.
Indict Mark Zuckerberg.
So guess what?
Yeah.
Unless the statute of limitation run out, if you do it before the statute of limitation run out, Fanny Willis right this very day, can call in another special purpose grand jury. We're going to investigate Stacey Abrams and what happened in 2018. She could do it, but she's not going to do it.
Yeah, she's not going to do it.
She's not going to do it.
She's not going to do it.
No.
So
they can do it and get away with it, Terrence.
So how do you think this is all going to unfold with Trump
let me tell you how this
Georgia
all
case?
Unfold. At the end of the day, people are not stupid. You remember Stacey Abrams came out and said, the voter suppression. Mm-hmm. They won't give you water at the polls now and all this bullshit. So first of all, they talk about voter ID. I served 16 years in elected public office. I even, as county executive, had to oversee an elections department. Yeah. In my whole 30 years of being around public office, I've never had one single voter come up to me and say, I cannot vote because I don't have a photo ID. Right. Now, the law was clear. The law said that when you come to vote, everybody used to show them their ID. But they changed and said, look, if you're going to mail in an absentee ballot, make a copy of your photo ID. That's not voter suppression. Oh, black people don't have any photo IDs. Really? We're that stupid that we don't have photo IDs.
Exactly.
We get it to buy beer. We get it to check in the hotel. We got driver's license. When we go to the sporting games, what do? We show our ID at will call.
You can't get in the club without an ID.
Or poor people. Wait a minute. Most poor people have IDs because if they get any kind of government assistance, you have to have a photo ID. Right. So that was a lie. Then they said, well, you can't give water. No, they didn't say you can't give water. You can't hand out water within 150 feet of the entrance of the polling place. Why? Because you get in there too far, you're going to start trying to get people to persuade people to vote. Yeah. So it all was a big lie. It was one big lie. But what happened? We lost Major League Baseball All-Star game in Atlanta, Georgia because of Stacey Abrams and all those black businesses who invested money to come and be a part of the All-Star game, make money, black kids, all kids, everybody. We lost it to where? To Denver. Now, you took it from a state where the city of Atlanta is about 65% black. Yeah. And you took it to Denver, Colorado, where the black population is 9%. Now, who really got suppressed in that deal?
Black people.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and then when they passed that same bill that made all that issue about, more black people voted after that bill passed than in the history of Georgia. Where was the suppression? Right. Where was the suppression?
And the fact that they think black people can't get IDs, that black people are so dumb that they don't know how to go get an ID. Cheers. When you go and they say poor people can't get an IDs. Now listen, I've stayed in the ghetto. I grew up around, it was liquor stores on every corner. And if I tried to go in a liquor store at the age of 17, where's your ID? They're asking for IDs. I seen an old drunk in there mad. Why do you need my ID? He drunk. The guy looked about 70 years old man. He drunk, and they asking this man for his ID. He
go get a COVID shot.
Why do I need an ID? You know how? No.
Get a COVID shot. You got to show your ID.
Exactly. And the only time somebody don't have an ID, they probably left it at home.
They left it at home.
If you leave your ID at home, turn your ass back around and go get your ID. But I don't know one black person in my family, in my friend group, people I went to school with, I don't know one black person that ever said that they have trouble getting ID at all.
But here's the thing. The state of Georgia, you can go to any driver's license place and they give it to you for free. There's not even a charge. I heard Kamala Harris say, well, in poor communities, they don't have any quick copier machines. Well, take some of that damn money you give them to all these illegals and buy some copies and put them in those local libraries. They do have a library.
Yeah.
put it at the county bill, let them come down there. But no, see, that's an issue. You know what? You can take a polling machine and put it in the bed with some people, and they still won't vote.
Yeah.
You can't make people vote.
Exactly.
But they want to hide under what? Voter suppression.
Yeah.
Jim Crow in Georgia. And what's interesting, why didn't Major League Baseball move their headquarters from the state of New York to Georgia? Because Georgia election laws are much more relaxed and open and accessible than the state of New York. You see how it all was just a bunch of just
politics, like you said.
It's politics.
Politics.
It's politics.
But how do you think this case is going to turn out in Georgia against Trump? Do you think they're going to, how do you think it's going to turn out?
I actually think, unless there's some proceedings to get it out of state court into federal court, I think he's going to be indicted. I mean, he's going to be convicted.
He's going to be convicted.
Because you know why? The media market here, with the Atlanta Journal and Constipation, all the others, they have polarized and made him and demonized him so much until it's almost impossible to get a fair trial.
Yeah.
It's impossible for him to get a fair trial in New York. It's almost impossible. How can you? You're supposed to be getting a fair trial by a jury of your peers. It's not here.
Yeah.
I tell you what though, his saving grace would be if anybody on that jury hold up, it'll be a black juror. Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Because black people for the first time, I think Trump knows what it's like to feel like a black man. Yeah. All right. If white people want to know how it is, how black people feel, ask Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Yeah. Let me rephrase that. Donald Trump has been beat down like a black man. The same thing that we've always complained about how the justice system is against us. Donald Trump is experiencing that right now. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden isn't experiencing it, and Hunter sure isn't experiencing it. You see? Yeah. Now, Joe Biden passed the crime bill that said if you have a quarter's worth of crack, you're going to jail for mandatory, 5 years, at least 5 years. But now, let's make an excuse for Joe. Well, Joe loved his son, but wait a minute now. It's okay for my son and your son to go to jail. Like we don't love our son. Oh, you're right. But his son doesn't have to go to jail.
His son can get away with murder because he loved his son.
Because he loved his son. How many black fathers loved their sons when they went off to prison? So what I'm saying, there is two tiers of justice. So black people, particularly black men, that's why there's the Democrats are losing their mind, because black men are wavering. They're starting now to pull out of this. I was in the barbershop this morning, and I heard too many black men say, look, man, I was making a lot more money when Trump was in office. I got to go with Trump. Yeah. Biden is doing more for these illegals than he's doing for us. This is in the barbershop. And so when you look at that, if anybody's going to save on that jury, if one juror is going to save, it's going to be a black man. Because what we've been saying from day one. Yeah. How the system has treated African Americans.
Now, if they find him guilty on all charges, or any of these charges, are they putting him in? Is he going to prison?
Well, first of all,
as a former president, can he be put in the state penitentiary?
Here's the deal. First of all, obviously, before you can get to that point, he's going to appeal. Yeah. All right. Now, here's the key, though. Will the judge allow him to have bond during this appeal process? Because that judge could very well say, nope.
No bond.
You were found guilty. You can appeal, but you appeal while you're in jail. Mm. Now,
can a former president, though, be put in a state penitentiary?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, he's going to have the Secret Service in there with him. Yeah. Because Secret Service supposed to take his life, right? Yeah. That's going to be interesting to see how that's going to happen. But, yeah, that could happen.
So they got to shut down a whole block.
We're going in territory that we've never traveled in before. That's what I'm saying. Things are going, we're so far out there now, Terrence. I don't know where we're going to be next. Yeah. All right, so here it is. You come up with RICO charges against a former president and his attorney that he took legal advice from. Now, you're going to lock up his attorney because his attorney said that he can say these things. And remember that phone call, too, now. The Secretary of State sitting there with his lawyers. The president sitting there with his lawyers. Nobody said anything was illegal or wrong. Yeah. Why didn't the Secretary of State's office say, wait a minute, Mr. President, we can't be talking about this? Yeah. Why can't a president...
What did they say he was doing? Intimidating the Secretary?
No, he said that when he told them, y'all need to find me 11,000 votes. First of all, his whole his whole wording was taken out of context. Matter of fact, the Washington Post withdrew their story or corrected their story after they saw the actual transcript.
Yeah.
But what she's alleging is that Trump, with all these other folks, got out there to conspire to overturn the elections. But wait a minute. Isn't that what Stacey Abrams did?
Yeah.
Isn't that what other presidents, like between Al Gore folks were trying to turn the elections over down in Florida with the hanging chads?
Yeah.
This ain't nothing new. But anytime we cannot contest or protest or question the government about elections, this is not Cuba. This is not Venezuela. This is not Russia.
That's why the Republicans have to do the same thing, because the Democrats, like you said, they have done this for years.
Yeah.
They did it with Al Gore, Stacey Abrams. Yeah. But what did we do about it? Nothing. We didn't say anything about it. We allowed them to do it because you should be allowed to question an election.
Why can't you?
You should be allowed to ask a question. But now in today's world, you are not allowed to do that, or you will get indicted.
And it depends on who you are.
And it depends on who you are. But
and what Justice Department you have.
Exactly.
And who the DA is.
Exactly.
And what party you belong to.
Yep.
That's the sad thing about it.
Yep. And unfortunately, the Republicans are going to have to play these same games, or else we're going to lose. Or else we are going to keep losing. Because how can we win if they?
You got to send a message. What
you got to send
you got to send a message.
You got to send a message. Yeah.
You can't let them keep. Once they look, Dr. King said it better than anybody I know during the Montgomery boycott. When the city was imposing all those Jim Crow laws on them, you can't ride the bus. If you do, get to the back of the bus. When black folks stopped riding that bus, it started to affect the pocketbooks of the establishment. When they start losing money, what happened? The shareholders start complaining. All right, all of a sudden, they said, we need this money. You got to let them feel that pinch. You got to let the Democrats feel that pinch.
Exactly.
You got to let these runaway DAs feel that pinch. But you got to have the guts to do it.
And that's the problem.
A
lot of people don't have the guts to do it. They don't have.
They're afraid.
They don't have the spine.
But what happened? I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. It's gonna make its way back around sooner. It's the boomerang effect.
Yeah.
It's gonna make its way back around, and one of those Democrats is gonna be in the receiving end. Yeah. I give example. Bowman, Representative Bowman in Washington right now. Now, what did he tell all those folks who came in as the insurrectionists? They need to be jailed. They said some of them pulled fire alarms, but he did the same thing.
Yep.
Now, if they burn him on this like they should burn him on this, he'll think twice, and others will think twice.
I haven't heard much about that lately.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. You got a Joe Biden Justice Department, but that U.S. Capitol Police reports to who? To the Speaker of the House. If that was Nancy Pelosi, you probably would have had one result. Now, although you don't have a Speaker of the House right now, but that investigation is already underway. Yeah. And you better believe the folks in charge of it was already on what's his name, on Speaker McCarthy's.
If Matt Gaetz pulled that alarm while Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi would have asked the Capitol Police to arrest that man.
Let me tell you,
she would have had him escorted out of the Capitol.
The Department of Justice has been all over him. They already had the resolution on the floor to expel.
Yeah,
they would already have the resolution on the floor to expel. So, but you know, it shouldn't be about vengeance politics. But you got to take a stand sooner or later to stop the bleeding.
It shouldn't be about vengeance, but we got to stand up for ourselves.
You have to
because right now we can ran over.
And back over and then run over some more.
And some more. So you got to stand up to the bullies.
Yeah. You know? But you know, I was going back, I was saying earlier, the American people sooner or later, you can only fool them for so long.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Right? See, that rubber band stretches.
Yeah.
But it comes back. Mm-hmm. All right. And so I am ultimately, I believe that the people, the American people,
we're going to wake up.
They're going to get tired of their gas prices being where it is. They're going to get tired of what they're paying for groceries. Mm-hmm. They're going to get tired of seeing these more and more illegals coming into their cities with a flat screen TV, hotels, cell phone, all that. Yeah. And they're going to say, wait a minute, it's going to be an uprising. Yeah. All right.
So, question. Do you plan on running for anything anytime soon?
Let me tell you something. I may not be running, but I'm always campaigning.
You're always campaigning.
And I may not be campaigning, but I'm always running.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
Let me tell you, public service is a higher calling.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to not only be a part of the legislative branch, but I've also been a chief executive. I had to be responsible for running the government.
Yeah.
I know government back and forth at all levels. But again, public service is a higher call.
I know,
it's
but
about sacrifices. Yeah. And let me tell you, I have too much. The Lord has blessed me too much with too much knowledge and good health to remain. I'm not going to remain on the sideline, but you don't always have to be in office to get things done.
That's true.
Dr. King never ran an election a day in his life.
Yeah.
But he changed this country.
Right.
Now, I'm not trying to say I'm Dr. King, but yeah, there are things we can do. You know, do you know how many people, when I came out for Trump, how many people said, gosh, man, I want to, but I was afraid to say anything. Man, I'm glad. Or how many people, since they've been hearing from me now, going and making it plain, like, wow, man, I see what you're saying. First, I thought you were crazy. So yeah. You're making a difference, Terrence.
What made you come out for Trump? What gave you the courage to? Because I know before you made that announcement, you know, like you knew that people were going to come after you.
Yeah, but here's what people don't know. I've always been this way all along. Some people just found out for the first time.
Yeah.
But a lot of people know that I was with George W. Bush, and I was county executive. I was in charge of the largest local government in the state of Georgia. Mm-hmm. I was with George W. Bush. It's more about policies. I was raised conservative. I'm born and reared in North Carolina. Hard work, education, faith-based, all those things always been important to me.
Yeah.
All right, my mom and dad, they said, look, you don't be wasting money. You save money, pay your bills, and pay your bills on time.
Yeah.
Just my upbringing.
Yeah.
And when I saw I said, I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me. Look, I don't believe a man can get pregnant.
You don't?
I don't support children, little girls, little boys being castrated and mutilated and injected with hormone injections for transgender operations. What do little kids know about stuff like that?
Right.
That make any sense? Look, I cannot support aborting a baby up to the day the baby's born.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not talking about these these extreme reasons. Oh, rape, incest. I'm talking about it could be a normal pregnancy under normal conditions, and a person can still abort a baby at 8, 9 months old.
Yeah.
Get in a car accident. You get in fault. You're at fault. You have a car accident. You hit someone, a lady pregnant, and the baby dies. They get you for murder.
For 2 murders.
For 2 murders. The mom died.
For 2 murders.
So the Democrat Party, when I look at this, you want to let all these illegals in.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm for immigration, but we have to have a process. You can't just say let them in.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of resources we're spending on them that we could be putting in the schools with school security. Yeah. That we could be fixing roads. That we can be rebuilding schools, bridges. You're giving billions now to take care of illegals who never lived in this country a day in their life.
What about Ukraine? What did you feel about that? Because
look, I understand supporting Ukraine, but to give them a blank check, hell to the no.
Yeah.
It's like it's a blank check now.
Yeah.
And if you question it, then you're being questioned for questioning it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, we didn't give that to Haiti.
Nope.
They may not be at a military war, but they're at poverty war.
Why are taxpayers not allowed to question where our money is going?
But you want my money, but I can't ask you about it. See, that's the foolishness. And so when I look at the Democratic Party, the Democratic Party, Congress, every Democrat voted for it. That if a baby survives a botched abortion, that you can't give that baby medical attention.
That's crazy.
Really? And then you have a Supreme Court justice nominee that cannot even define what a woman is. Because she's beholden to these left-wing groups.
And she's a woman. And you can't define what a woman is.
And you can't define what a woman is. And so the Democratic Party is they got out there so far. You want to punish a successful businessman? You want to punish him because he's successful. You want to take all of his money. Mm-hmm. You're killing the entrepreneur spirit.
Right.
But you want to go and give to somebody who never lived in this country, don't have a job, don't want a job.
And that's why minorities should be pissed the hell off. Minorities should be mad. Like, especially black people. Black people, some black people I know, they talk about reparations. Oh, the government owe us this, they owe us this. Okay, well, you should be really pissed off that the government said they're not giving you this, but they're going to give it to illegal immigrants. coming into this country.
They never built the
And
country.
when Joe Biden was talking about giving illegal immigrant families $500,000 if they were separated from their families at the border. So you mean, hold on, you're gonna give these criminals, because if you come over here,
criminals.
because if you come over here illegally,
You're a criminal. You broke the law.
you broke the law. You broke the law. So because a man and a woman were arrested and separated from their child because they came over here illegally, and who knows if that was their real child. They came over here illegally, and now you're going to give them $500,000 because they were separated from their child when they committed a crime. And so that family gets $500,000. Well, I need $500,000 right now, because my mama was separated from us because she was doing drugs and she was breaking the law, and I was in the foster care system. Where's my $500,000 at?
Now, Terrence, to your point too.
Where's my $500,000 at? Because I was separated from my family.
Now,
where's my $500,000?
That's the other thing too. They want to keep those families together when they break the law.
Yeah.
But if one of your family members break the law, when they go to jail, do this, so, well, you can't separate it from the kid. Don't put them in jail. Everybody that come over here legally, they have broken the law.
Exactly.
But you're rewarding them.
Exactly. You're going to jail. They did not give my like when my mom they didn't give her $500,000 for committing crimes.
No.
And
the thing about it is, where's reparations really start though? If you want to pay reparations, then Africa should be the first one to pay reparations. Because although white folks bought slaves, black folks sold slaves.
You know what? This is what I always tell people, and whether you like it or not, but it was called the slave trade, not the slave kidnapping.
Now, there you have it.
If it was a kidnapping, it would have been called it would have been called the historic slave kidnapping. It was the slave trade.
And who was the biggest culprit? Who sold? And by the way, speaking of that, now Kamala Harris from California, right? And that's what they're talking about, reparations. Help me understand this. And I'll throw Obama in there too. Are they going to get a check or an invoice?
Right.
Are they going to get a check or an invoice?
Right.
Because wait a minute now. Hold on. Obama's mama's white.
Right.
So should he get an invoice?
Ooh.
Should we charge him? Kamala but before she said she black, no, she wasn't black. She decided to run for president.
Right.
But wait a minute, didn't her family own slaves? So do we send them a check or invoice?
Right.
They need to be paying.
Exactly.
But so you're gonna just get black people, and then you give them the check. How long is the check gonna be before the check is gone? If you really want, first of all, ain't none of us been no doggone slaves, have we?
Yeah. And but to be honest though, listen, if we give out reparations, our taxes are going to go up. But get this though, although I don't care for the reparations package thing, whatever, I would rather the government give black people money than to give these illegal immigrants money.
Well, good point. Good point.
I'm not for reparations, but if you are going to give out some damn money, then you give it to us. You give it to all Americans. But
Terrence, you know.
But
you know what? See, I look long term.
Yeah.
If you give them that check, by the time they buy some shoes, maybe pay some off their credit card, it's gone.
Yeah.
If you're going to give money, let it be what I call legacy reparations. Put that money into historical black colleges so young minds can be educated. Because you get those kids who can't normally go to college for financial reasons, and you get them in college and you get them educated. They're going to be the future doctors, the lawyers, the engineers, the business folks. And that's ongoing. And by the way, even if you're a white person, go to HBCU, fine. Fact of it is, if you're going to give reparation money, give it to educational institutions like HBCUs, because that's living legacy. That takes that, when that young man or young woman get that college degree, that takes them to the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And think about the lives that they bring, like their kids, and to give them a leg up for their kids to have a leg up. So if I look at it, if you're going to do it, that would be my option. Now, but with all this stuff I'm hearing now, write me a check. Oh, really? Go to work.
And they need their 40 acres.
But guess what? None of those folks have been slaves. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
None of them have been slaves.
And also this though, I love everybody. I love my black folks. But like people want to talk about we need our land, our 40 acres. First of all, if you want to talk about land, the Native Americans were here first. So how can you say that you deserve 40 acre when you still have Native Americans fighting for land too? So they feel like it's their land, and you saying you should be given this land. No, you know.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like it's crazy though. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. If you're going to invest money in reparations, if you are, what better way than do it through education?
Right.
You know, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now,
it's true. Yeah.
I saw you stand up. We're going to a break. Let's see. Can I see what time it is? Because this is not live. You're gonna cut and paste.
Yeah.
Okay. I had to see what time it was.
Yeah.
But Terrence, and if you want to bring up some other subject, I know we just start going. I mean, gosh, man, I was supposed to be out of hard out at 3:45. Luckily, they texted me and said they'd give me more time. But what else you want to touch on? I mean, a lot going on in Georgia. We've been talking.
Yeah, we touched on that. Max threw us off, but that's all right.
Yeah, when he stood up, I thought he was saying, why?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we can chop
now,
all this
Terrence,
stuff.
let me tell you, I love black and white people. Love white people. Matter of fact, I had two for lunch today. It ain't like I don't like white people.
Yeah.
All right. And it ain't like I don't like black people.
Yeah.
But we got to have some sanity here, though.
Yeah.
We got to strike a balance here, whether it's reparations or dealing with any issues. There's no balance now. It's like, if you don't agree with me now, not only do I dislike the fact that you don't agree with me, but now I hate you.
Yeah.
Like I don't hate people from the LGBT community.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a dog, be a dog.
Yeah.
But don't try to get me to believe that you're a dog.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Now if you want to be called dog, fine. Dog the hunter. We call him dog.
Yeah.
But we've got to the place now, words are popping up in the dictionary that we've never seen before.
Exactly, yeah. Times are crazy, man, and
times are crazy, man. Times are crazy,
and we got to get back to normal.
Yeah,
we got to get back to normal. So, is there anything you would like the audience to know? Are you working on anything? Doing? I mean, anything you want?
Well, let me tell you, my goal for 2024 is to try to work as hard as I can to open the minds, certainly of African American voters. Look, a media outlet called me not long ago and said, "Look. What is this about black people becoming conservative now?" And I said, let me stop you right there. We're not becoming conservative, and I'm not here trying to get them to be conservative. I'm here to remind them that we've always been conservative. Mm-hmm. We've always been that way. And what broke our backs was Barack Obama. Barack Obama changed the mindset of African Americans be a long time before we could change it back, because him and his liberal agenda, black people were so caught up on him being the first African American, and that symbolism blind them to his policies.
Yeah.
And the things that we started accepting and promoting and pushing that has really been to the detriment of black people. Mm-hmm. And I it's kind of interesting. I hear, these like the black men, they love the fact, Michelle and her husband, look at that family, husband and wife. Well, you know what? The system is set up where it's designed for you not to have a husband. Mm-hmm. Your father, the system designed for your father not to be in the house, because guess what? If you go and have a baby, we encourage you, we'll pay you to have a baby, but the father cannot live in the house. Up into the 60s, black household families were 70% mother and father in the house. Yeah. Now it's the other way, 70% of single parents.
Right.
What has happened here? Black people own their own businesses. They would, that was the thing, because we had among ourselves. We may have only served each other, but we had our own businesses. We had our own cleaners. We had our own banks. We had all this. How many black banks are left now?
All right.
I mean, those banks that started years ago, how many of those are left now? I mean, when you look at where we are now, and where our values have shifted to, I mean, I'm not going to leave anybody out. The ministry in the religious community. Yeah. I don't see pastors stand up and say, wait a minute, whosoever will, let them come to church. Yeah. But there's a difference between a man and a woman. And if you don't think so, try to milk a bull.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We love everybody, but we still gonna promote the family unit, the nuclear of the family, mother, father.
Yeah.
You know, now you want me to give you something. Don't you want a job?
Yeah.
You want the government to give you something? Don't you want a job?
Right.
Don't you want your own business? We've got to go through major reprogramming. So my point is, through my nonprofit organization, Waking Up America, I'm just trying to wake up. I'm trying to wake up people to not only just African Americans, but obviously I'm concentrating there too, but just in general. Wait a minute. How often now do they pledge allegiance to the flag? They spend more time on the LGBTQ flag in the classroom than the American flag in the classroom.
Yep.
I mean, anytime from the White House, you have the American flags on the outside and the LGBTQ flag draped down the middle. First of all, you just disrespected the code for the American flag.
Yep.
But would they hang a red, black, and green flag from the White House?
They hang anything with the American flag these days.
They wouldn't hang a red, black, and green flag, but they hang the LGBT. Mm-hmm. In other words, would they hang a Black Panther flag?
Well, with this administration, they hang anything.
I bet you they won't hang that, because they'll get hung for hanging that. They would get hung. So that's what I'm saying. Black people, look at you pushing the cause, but are they pushing your cause?
Right.
You push for illegals to come here, but are illegals pushing for you and your rights?
Exactly.
You know what time it is. Where are we going? And so, I love everybody. I don't care your race, color. I don't care about that. All right. I care about my country. I care about my family. I care about my community. And wherever I can make a difference that promote in a positive way, even including protecting free speech.
Yeah.
Because now, people are afraid to say anything. They may lose their job or lose a contract.
Yeah.
People are afraid. Now, the other side can say anything they want to say to you, but you can't say nothing back to them. And so, Terrence, where are we going? The younger generation, where are they now?
Right.
You putting stuff in their heads now. You telling little children now that you have a choice to be a boy or a girl regardless of your gender. You tell them there are no longer two genders.
Yeah, confusing.
72 genders?
Yeah.
There's 72 genders?
That's confusing.
So X and Y and XX chromosome, that's out the window now.
Yeah.
And then the other group wants to say that you and I hate them because we say, no, we don't hate. This is science. I don't hate you.
Right.
This is science.
So Waking Up America is about bringing sanity
it's education,
back. Education, and bringing sanity back. Sanity back.
Let's go back to the basics.
Yeah.
What about faith? Our faith too.
Yeah.
This country that was a bedrock foundation. Our faith.
Talking about God again in this country. Yeah. Yeah. Wake up, America.
And I gotta say this. I'm sorry. I'm sick and tired of seeing all these HIV commercials showing nothing but black men on men. You killing the image of the black male. I was looking at football.
Right.
Which is the most masculine game there is. I was looking at college football now. They're running more of these commercials, these HIV commercials, and showing nothing but men on men. And most of them on there, black men on black men. Wait a minute, what is that? Come on, that's why you got little boys. You got women who say they don't need a man. Little boys don't want to grow up to be a man. I mean, they're killing the straight man now is becoming an endangered species.
I do see a lot of those commercials. Yep.
Look at those commercials when they come on, just full of black men. Like, first of all, can't you have an HIV commercial and not be about gay lifestyle anyhow? Because a lot of straight people have HIV. But why do you have to make it that way? I mean, and you trying to cram this down our throats and make us, accept this? And if you don't, then in other words, if you don't buy into that, then something's wrong with you.
Yep.
And so, I mean, where are we getting to now? I mean, where are we going? And I just look, I'm just seeing this is all socializing us where it doesn't matter anymore. It's like you're used to it.
Yeah.
It's no longer a sticker shocker.
Yeah, we gotta bring sanity back.
We gotta bring sanity back.
We gotta bring sanity back.
I'm gonna tell you one thing though, one positive sign I see on black men. Black men are taking the lead now on thinking independently when it comes to voting in elections now. Now we may not vote as much as
that's one of the greatest.
but that's where they're trending. the black man, if the black man continue to lead, the black woman's gonna follow.
Exactly. That's one of the greatest things you can do for yourself is think for yourself.
But you and I get criticized.
Because I'm not a robot. I can think for myself. I'm not a computer. I can think for myself. You don't have to program me. I'm a human being.
Right.
I can think for myself. You know. And
NAACP promotes, I don't care who you vote for, just go and vote. That's a damn lie. Yeah. They've changed their status from 501c3 to 501c4 now. That's what they are now, 501c4, which is political. They're an extension of the Democratic Party.
Yep.
And I tell you what, I laughed my head off. NAACP said, don't travel to Florida. How they treat black people down in Florida. Now, wait a minute.
And you got a beachfront property.
When the chairman of the board lives in, did he tell his wife, I can't come back to Tampa because we just passed a resolution about how bad Florida is, and more black businesses are in Florida doing well probably anywhere in the country. Mm-hmm. I mean, just stupid, silly crap like that, you know. But anyhow,
it's called politics, just like politics. You said, yeah. But Wake Up America.
Waking up America.
WakingUpAmerica.com.
.us. .us. WakingUpAmerica.us.
WakingUpAmerica.us. Man, Vernon, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Brother. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too, brother, man.